My name is Sue Kelly, and I'm part of a small group of driven people who have formed the Folk Art Society of Nova Scotia with charitable standing. And our goals, aims, and ambitions are to create a folk art center on the South Shore, ideally here in Lunenburg, and we're searching for accommodation. It would be a year-round adventure, and it would allow us to form a permanent collection of Nova Scotia folk art, and also have rotating exhibits, have a sidebar of things like maybe gift shop, maybe artists coming for a brief time to do demonstrations. Obviously active in the high season, shall we call it, but still available year-round. That would have to be the commitment if we were going to go out and lease a space. So when you hear folk art, there's sort of two things come to mind, certainly to my mind. The Folk Art Society, and then there's the Nova Scotia Folk Art Festival, a blowout event on one day of the year for 4 hours. And that is affiliated with the local Heritage Society. So the Folk Art Society in Nova Scotia is a different body of people. Some of us have a crossover relationship. But apart from that, we have a very special lady here today. I think most of you know her, actually, the way people are coming in, giving you a greeting and all, and it's lovely, absolutely lovely. Laura has been part of, certainly, a long time in my recognition of folk artists and her skills and achievement in interpreting art and characters in the method of hooking. And I'm gathering about 90% of you are hookers, and it's just a term of endearment, isn't it? And it's lovely. So she has a wonderful display here, which you can consider after her talk and enjoy, and her pieces and her samples, I'm sure she invited. And I'm not going to go back on history, other than I met her when she had very small children, and she persevered over the years, and here she is today to entertain us with her story. Thank you. Thank you.
Whoa, okay. How many hookers are here, just a show of hands? Okay, do you have Rotten Tomatoes with you? No, okay, that's good. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah? Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so to prepare for this talk, usually what I do every day, 7 days a week, is I get up, I have breakfast, I hook, I have lunch, I hook some more, my hand starts to hurt, my back starts to hurt, and then I have to say, okay, that's enough hooking for today. And when I'm not hooking, I'm thinking about what I should be hooking. So it's pretty nonstop. And I think, what drives me really is I have something in my mind's eye, and I'm just curious to see what it looks like in real life. So when I finish one, I go to another. So to prepare for this talk, I had to look back 27 years of my life, and that was very interesting because I have kept a journal since I was a teenager. I didn't want to look at my journal because there's a lot of ranting and raving in my journal, and I didn't want to go through and look for the hooking stuff. But I have kept a blog since 2011. So I started going through the blog, and it was really interesting to see how the rugs have changed, experiences that have helped me along the way. It's been really good. So thank you so much for this experience, to have that experience, and to be here today is really, all of you is really nice. So we're gonna go back to 1998. My husband and I just moved to Truro from Halifax. And I'd had a whole bunch of jobs before I became a rug hooker, none of which I was good at, none of which I liked. So when we moved to Truro, I thought, okay, I'm gonna finally figure out what I wanna do with my life. And there was a rug hooking exhibit in Truro that was put on by the provincial guilds. There used to be a school there. Has anyone been to the Truro school, the rug cooking school? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So they put on an exhibit, so I thought, I'm gonna go. And so I went, and I was blown away. The colors, I think, were the thing that struck me the most. And so there were vendors on site, and the woman showed me how to hook. Like she said, this is how you do it. I went home with the kit and did it. So this is my first one. Yeah. You gotta start somewhere. And I put this in front of my hooking room on the door just to remember you gotta start somewhere. And when I was hooking, hooking's not as easy as you think. When the woman showed me how to do it, it looked really easy, but it's not. So when I did this piece, I didn't have this eureka moment like, oh, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. But I did think, I'm going to try this again. So for people who don't know, like when I say a pattern, it means like a backing and it has the image stamped on, okay? So I thought, well, this is how people do it. You buy a pattern and you hook. So there was a shop in Pictou at the time, and there was a whole bunch of patterns, and I was leafing through, and one was of a landscape, one was of a floral, one was geometric, and I'm leafing through, and I'm like, no, 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 no. And I had this sort of light bulb moment, well, I'll just buy a piece of burlap and draw a fish on. I can draw a fish. Anyone can draw a fish, right? And I thought I was like inventing the wheel, but I wasn't. This is how women, and I'm going to say women because there aren't a lot of male hookers, but I'm going to say women originally, before patterns came along. Oh, did you have a question? No? Okay. So what they would do is they would open up a feed bag, they would take a piece of chalk or a charred piece of wood, and they would draw whatever was on their mind, you know, their pet, their house, you know, it was one of a kind, right? And they would take their family's worn clothing, and this always struck me, like this clothing was next to their family's skin. They'd washed it how many times? And then they cut this up and they made a rug. And so when it was new, it went in the living room, and then it got older and more worn, it would go in the kitchen, and then it ended up in the back, you know, the back porch, and it just wore itself out. So when patterns came along, this is where the hookers are gonna throw tomatoes at me. I think it was quite a change because patterns were good in a way, and that it kept rug hooking relevant, and a lot of people did it. But what women stopped doing was designing their own. So that's, yeah, I'm gonna talk about that later. So anyways, I was drawing fish on my burlap. I was doing very simple designs because I couldn't draw, right? You know, I really couldn't, so I kept it simple. I did dresses. I did a whole bunch of versions of dresses, and I was just sort of playing with color at the time, and I didn't intentionally do that. I just sort of did one after the other. So anyways, in 2000, I had a baby girl, and in 2004, we had our son, Jonah. So it wasn't till 2009. Actually, I'm skipping ahead a bit. Sorry. After a couple years, I thought, I'm going to get in touch with the art gallery of Nova Scotia Gift Shop. I was very bold and thought, I'm going to see if we'll sell these rugs. So I emailed them, I sent them an image, and they said, sure. And I was like, huh. There was a shop in Pictou that said, we'll sell these. I'm like, huh, well, that's great. Like that, you know, that was encouraging, right? So one day, I think my daughter was like 1 or something, and the shop in Pictou gave me a call. They said, there's a couple from New York, they want to see your studio. And I was like, I didn't have a studio. And so from the time it went to go from Pictou to Truro, 35 minutes, I rearranged the second bedroom to make it look like a studio. I don't know what I did with my daughter, whether I had her on my hip or she was having a nap. And they appeared at the door. So they came in. I had this really small apartment on Queen Street. Came into the living room, and they started saying, is that for sale? Is that for sale? I'm like, no, that's mine. Like, I didn't quite understand. Did not understand what was going on. I think they did go home with a couple little pieces, but But that was my first sort of artist experience. So so as I mentioned, I was just drawing fish. I was drawing very simple things. And I did do a series of rugs. This is my headless ballerina series. And there's no big, deep thought about why I cut their heads off. I just thought I couldn't hook a head. And that's what folk artists do, right? You know, you could have an art critic or a curator like, oh, what does she mean by that? It's like, I couldn't hook it. I didn't have the courage or you know, the confidence. So I did a few of those. This is sort of pre-Judy, right? It was building up to that. I didn't know that. I started with a dress. I started to add, you know, this bit by bit. So 2009, that was when our son went to primary. So I thought, okay, I've got like a chunk of time from 8 till 2 to, you know, to hook and to focus a bit more and see if I can make this into something. So I applied for the Folk Art Festival and I got in, and I applied for Craft Nova Scotia. You just send images of your work. No, actually, I think you had to send the work in person, and I got into that. So I did have to think, though, whether I was a folk artist. I think I tend to think of a folk artist as a fella who retired from the lobster industry, and he's a carver, right? Like that's that. And I thought, okay, I'm not that, okay? But I think what I do and what I share with folk artists is I don't care if something doesn't look realistic. Like if the beaver that I make looks like a seal, whatever. I'll just give you an example. Like I did a crow, and what stands out to me about crows is their feathers. And I didn't put an eye in the crow. So a fella came up to me and he said, you know, crows have very expressive eyes. Why don't you have an eye in there? And I'm looking at the crow and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't put an eye in it. And I was like, oh, I guess I should have put an eye. Should I put an eye? Like, you know, when you first start off, you're kind of like sensitive to comments, right? So, but that's not what seemed interested to me about a crow, so I didn't include it. So so that's what I share with folk artists. And when Ray Cronin put me in his book, I thought, okay, I'm a folk artist. Like that was very helpful and reassuring. So anyways, where are we now? Okay, 2009, 2010. Okay. And then I think, like, are there any rug hookers who are thinking of going into it, like full-time art? No? Okay. Okay. That'll be, yeah. Okay, so this is something I wrote in my blog, April 17th, 2012, and I'll just read it to you. I'm starting to see a pattern to this little art life of mine. January to mid-April, hook, hook. End of April, mail rugs to galleries for tourist season. May to June, hook some more for the festival. July, August, play with the kids. September, November, hook for designer craft show. December, sell for Christmas, and back to January. It's a nice life indeed. So the only thing that's really different now is my kids are 21 and 24. So I now also hook during July and August. Yeah. So, yeah. So things are going good. So now Judy. Does everyone know who Judy is? Okay. So this lady here. So how did she come about and who is she? So when I was doing this series, I did start adding heads to people. And I did various ladies, different color hair, but this lady kept appearing with the red bun, the black dress, and the red boots. And I had this sort of like, who is she? And I had this whoosh of ideas, did like 30, 40 sketches. It was intense. And for some reason, I felt I was very active on social media. So I would do a rug, post it, do a rug, post it. And I was in a hurry. I don't know what was going on with me. It was super intense. So Judy is, I gave her a name, Judy. Judy seems like a very solid, down-to-earth name, and she is that way. And the rugs at first were very lighthearted. And I would take expressions like Judy's on the fence, like I put her on a fence, or a cakewalk and she'd be walking on cakes. And it was pretty lighthearted. She's become more political. Like her answer to climate change is to shove the world into a fridge. Yeah, doesn't work. And I realized this like just 3 weeks ago. Like I tend to overthink and be a bit of a worrywart, an anxious person. So whenever I'm worrying, like I was worried about the drought this year in Nova Scotia. And so Judy will sort of come along and fix the problem. So I often wondered, if I go into therapy to try to figure out the anxiety thing, would Judy disappear? And I think that would be a sad thing. So anyways, I'm just going to keep neurotic. But yeah, so the rug I did for the drought, I didn't bring it. I should have brought it. It was all these Judys falling from the sky into the fire. And the title was, I'll Be Your Rain. So it sort of solved that problem for me. Yeah. And then who is Judy is the hardest question. People will say, oh, she's your alter ego, or she's a fictional character, or who is she based on? And like the disappointing answer to that is I have no clue. And I almost want to keep it that way, because if I try to think about too much about who she is, she'll disappear. She came sort of unexpected, and who knows, she could disappear, which would, people love Judy. They really, like, people say, you should have Judy do this or that, or, they really can relate to her. She doesn't like housework. She, especially ironing, like she uses it as a surfboard, there's a bit of my mom in there, but yeah, so she's been a gift is all I can say, an unexpected gift. And we just have to wait and see what happens with Judy next. Like I have 5 rugs in a new series, so I hope to collect about 30, and then I'll have a show, and we'll see what she's up to. So yeah. Now Maud Lewis. So after I got into Judy for a bit, Maud Lewis, I became obsessed with Maud Lewis, and it was in 2016. The movie came out. Lance Williver wrote a book about her life, Heart on the Door. She was being talked about in our politics because the Liberals had slashed the film tax credit, and people were upset that the film wasn't filmed in Nova Scotia. It was filmed in Newfoundland, and it was a super crazy, intense Maud time. And Aaron Morton's book, For Folk's Sake, has anyone read that book? Yeah, so Aaron Morton, For Folk's Sake, there was a big fat section on Maud, and I found that fascinating. So I did a show with Stephen Rood at Secord Gallery about Maud, and then at Acadia we did another show, and it was sort of to talk a bit more about her life. Like I didn't know she had a baby out of wedlock. I didn't know there was a poor farm right next to that cute little house. I didn't know Everett was killed in that house. Like to this day, I find it interesting that people will go see that cute little house, and there was a dead body. You know what I mean? Like school kids will go see the house, and it's just like life. Like there's dark and light and everything, right? So we were sort of looking at maybe that darker side. But there was a rug, or there was a painting that really interested me that she did, and this was by Lance Williver. And so, like how Maud usually did outdoor scenes. So this is an indoor Christmas scene. And according to Lance Williver, it was a commission that she did for Lance's family. It was titled Max, which is Lance's brother. So does anyone find anything unsettling about this image, or is it just me? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not her house. Yeah, yeah. You can't? No? What's that?
Much more in it than she
Yeah,
ever had.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So the thing that disturbed me about it was there was a baby in a room by himself in a crib. I don't know why. And I wondered if I don't know if you can see that, but there's a baby in the crib. Yeah. Yeah. So So what Judy did, so Laura had a problem with the painting. So what Judy did was she picked up the baby. She sat in the rocking chair, picked up the baby, and fixed it. But this painting to me is super interesting because, like, most of her paintings were outdoor scenes, right? Mind you, it was a commission, so that's probably, yeah. And so I'll do mod-related rugs. I could really keep doing those, just those, but I've decided I'll do 2 or 3 a year. And because she hasn't really left me, I was so obsessed with her for a year. Like, it doesn't really leave you once you're, in that. So, yeah. But I will read you a bit what I said about Maud. Okay, so this was 2018. Maud was a powerhouse. She would paint a crow and outline it with bright yellow or blue. She put beautiful fall-colored leaves on trees in a winter scene and painted the hills green. She didn't fuss with how things were supposed to look. She smoked cameos. She lied about her age. She knew that you can have a cranky spouse and tourists wanting the same oxen and 3 cats, but when you sit down and make, all that goes away. So she said in one of the documentaries, as long as I have a brush in front of me, I'm okay. So I could sort of relate to her, with that. Yeah. Now, I have 2 hookers that I'm really excited about. And I just found out about Ellen Gould Sullivan, and I guess you're going to have a talk in October about her, so I won't say too much about her. But she had a series, she made a series of rugs, and it was a traveling exhibit. And there's one rug, and it's titled 3 Cats. And I would love to see what, she was, basically born the same time as Maud. So it'd be really interesting to see. It's in a private collection somewhere. Yeah, so it'd be really interesting. But she's a great folk artist. Like, that's a deer. Like, it's scary, but it's a deer, right? Right? Yeah, so she had really cool rugs. And then Catherine Poirier. Has anyone heard of Catherine Poirier? Yeah, I was up in Poirier. Yeah, so how women were making rugs in shetty camp, and when I think of the shetty camp rugs, I think of the beautiful floral rugs. Well, not Catherine Poirier. She was making beautiful landscapes about shetty camp. So she is really someone, really good folk art. So these 3 ladies, Ellen and Catherine and Maud, were around at the same time, and it makes you wonder how many others are out there that maybe we don't know about. Because like I said, with the rugs, a lot of them didn't survive, right? Yeah. What else do I have to say? Okay, back to the patterns. Okay. So this is a really good book. This is about the blue nose patterns. Everyone knows, all the hookers know. Famously, the 3 bears, the blue nose itself. And there's a show actually now at the Museum of Industry. There's maybe, 15 rugs, the blue nose rugs. So, yeah, in Stellarton, yeah. But I just want to read something about patterns. And this book, I don't know who did, I think it might have been the Provincial Guild. I'm not sure how. I've had this forever. Carol Harvey Clark did it? Okay. So this is something. These 2 people, they did called American Hooked and Sewn Rugs, Folk Art Underfoot. And they were pretty brutal about these patterns. But I remember reading this, and it always stuck with me. For the most part, we have excluded the great body of uninspired rugs that were made from commercial manufactured patterns. Patterns made rug making easier and helped popularize the craft after the Civil War. But by eliminating the need to design, they stifled originality and creativity among those introduced to hooking these stenciled burlap rug bases. So I get in trouble in the rug hooking world when I'm poo-poo designs. I think patterns are great if you're learning. I think they're great to adapt and make your own. But there seems to be a bit of a fear of making something not look realistic. And I think we've got to be brave and just put it on there. If someone says, you know, your cat looks like a deer, oh well. Like, just, you got to laugh it off and, you know, just keep going. Exactly. No, I remember teaching some elementary kids, and I said, draw a picture of a cat, and they all held it up, and everyone was different. And this one boy came to me after. He was too shy to show his cat. He was embarrassed about his cat. And it broke my heart, like, at that young of age, to be scared you can't draw. Like, yeah. So, and hookers, this is for you. It's just the last thing I got here, and then we got lots of time for questions. If you run out of ideas for designs, okay. Okay, this is from an article in House Beautiful magazine in 1928. And it recounts how a Nova Scotian woman responded when asked where she got the idea for one of her hooked mats. So she said, I wanted something to draw on a rug, and I couldn't find anything. I looked out in the yard, and after a while I saw our cat, Multi, and I said to myself, he'll be good enough. Then I got my old man to hold him down on a piece of burlap. Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine. Yeah. Well, I drew around him with a pencil. But I didn't know what to do with the tail. He was lying on it. So I didn't show it in my picture. But no cats grow without tails, so my old man held it out nice and straight, and I just stuck it there. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got. So, yeah, if you have any questions or, yeah. Yeah.
Talk about your Stephen Root and your lighthouse.
Oh, yeah. I did forget that. Thanks. Yeah, so this was shortly after Judy became a thing. This was the first show I did where it was centered around a theme. And I was, so Stephen Harper, he had said that lighthouses were obsolete because they weren't used for navigational purposes. So they were going to be knocked down or just the feds weren't going to take care of them anymore. So communities came together and would have potlucks and, raise money, and a lot of them are saved, right? So this was a show I did with Stephen Rood, who's a painter. He lived here for a while, and now he's in Wolfville. Yeah. Did he really? Okay. Yeah. So we had a really interesting partnership because he went to art school. I did not. He was very smart, intellectual, like very, very articulate, I'm sort of the opposite. I go but more by gut, by emotion, by feeling. So we worked together we did maybe 4 or 5 shows together. We'd had enough of each other after a while, but yeah, so this was the show at Harvest Gallery. And that was the first time I did like 10 to 15 rugs where it was about a theme. And I love doing that now. That's sort of my thing. I had a Judy show that traveled to Cape Breton and Acadia and St. Evex, and then it went to a gallery in Ontario. And so that's sort of what I'm doing right now. I'll just show you. This is one from my new series that I have about 5 done, and it's going to take me about another 1.5 to 2 years to finish. So this one, the title is "And Stay Off My Shoulders." Did you get it? Yeah. So she doesn't want the weight of the world on her shoulders, so she kicked that thing off. Yeah. Yeah. And oh yeah, and this was the mod show I did with Stephen. This was at Secord Gallery. Yeah. 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 And yeah, I think that's it.
So when you say you're going to do a show, and you're going to do so many pieces, where are you going with it? Where are we going to see it? Do you know that when you start?
No, I should be applying to places now because I should be doing that, but I'm putting that off. Because there's sort of pressure if you do get the venue. Like the venues they book like 2 years ahead, so you have to be thinking that way. But if I did get a venue and the rugs aren't coming as quick as they should be, then there's pressure, and I don't want to do that. So I think this time, because things have been pretty crazy for the last, I don't know how many years. Yeah. And so I'm trying to slow things down a bit. So what I'm going to do is I have maybe 4 or 5 in this new series, and I'll need about 30. And I think once I'm at the end of it, then I'll start applying for venues.
So you just roll them and put them aside and then
Yeah.
go looking for
Yeah.
a home for them.
And that's the first time I've done that, because usually I get the venue and then I make the rugs. And it's a lot of pressure. It's because, the idea is, they usually come, but, if they don't, what are you going to put in those walls, right? Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, can you talk a bit about how your materials, like your use of materials has evolved and how it's part of your process? 'Cause
Yeah.
I love some of the backgrounds that you do are
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
They're very simple and stuff.
Yeah.
You just talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. When I first started, I didn't know how long I'd be doing it, so I didn't want to invest in a cutter, and because they were about $300-400 at the time. So I just used yarn, because yarn you can buy any color. And then I started using recycled clothing. So I would go to Frenchies and Louis and I would over dye them. Like this one is pretty much, it's all recycled except for a little bit here. I started using sari ribbon. And now I am completely addicted to yarn and sari ribbon. And there's a fella in India, I get a bucket load. So if you look at this background, and the reason I do my backgrounds horizontal, because I used to do them swirly, but now they're pretty much striped. Remember the rugs in Grenfell Mission? They hooked with nylons, and their backgrounds were perfectly straight. So I mix up the materials, though. This one's mostly sari ribbon. And it's it's not as much fun to do like one solid color, just get like a whole bunch, and it keeps it interesting, because it can be a little monotonous if you have mind you, if you want a flat look, then totally go with one color. It depends what the look that you want, yeah. And then I got into dyeing too, because I couldn't find the colors, so I didn't follow the recipes. I would just throw in a whole bunch. Like this color, this is why this is so bright. I just threw it in. Yeah.
The mad scientist approach.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. But I did do like the hugest mistake once. I had like a dark blue blazer or something from Frenchies, and I wanted to lighten the color. So guess what I added? Bleach. Bleach. And yeah, the hookers know what happens to wool when you add bleach. I had all these like cardboard things on my clothesline. I was like, what did I do? And I did go to rug school. I should have known, don't add bleach, but I did it. Don't do it. Yeah, don't be doing that. Yeah. Yep.
What is the title of this?
Keeping an eye on the neighbor. Yeah. Yeah. And you can see, you can tell, hopefully, those are binoculars, but it's just 2 circles and a little, and the hands are tricky, but I just sort of, usually. Well, no, Judy's arms are usually out like this, because I'm like, how do you, if you look at Bradford Nogler's, the Obamas, Barack's arms are down to his knees, and he would have known that's not right, but he kept it, and that's the funny thing. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's not that I don't stress. Sometimes I do, I want it a certain way, but no, I don't worry if things don't look, realistic. So, yeah. Yep.
As long as you're talking about hands,
yeah.
I'd like for you to talk about the hand on the example that you showed us with the globe.
It's just a spot.
It's just a spot.
Oh.
Just like one little.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm curious, I'd like for you to talk about the process of getting to that. Look at it. Look at that hand.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. What's that?
Was that an afterthought, or did you know when you were making Judy, I'm going to give her a hand?
Well, I'm glad you think it looks like a hand. That's good. It's like basically 4 loops, and then I went a bit horizontal.
Is it not a hand?
It is a hand. Yeah. That's a good question.
It's perfect.
You can't see the arm. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like if she wore a short sleeve, like see that's the part. That's the hard part. How do you distinguish between a sleeve and a dress? They're both black. Really clever, fine hookers could do it. They could do it. They would make the dress probably lighter black, and then they could do it, and they could do it really well. Yeah. But for me, I just had to add a splash of flesh color in there so that people knew she had a hand. But actually, if I left it out, like I think your brain would go, we know she has hands. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think your brain would, yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
it's the focal point.
Oh, really? Interesting. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. No, she's just kind of like that. Like, you know how you, yeah. Same question. Yeah. 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 Sari ribbon. Sari ribbon or chiffon. It's really soft. It's soft. You can get it from, Jane, do you sell it? Yeah? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love working with that. And you can over dye it. It just comes in skeins. Yeah, yeah. You don't with strings at all? I do. I still do though. Yeah, yeah. Like her, like that's probably a skirt. Under her hair. Oh, I could talk about her hair. Yeah. So I'll hook her hair, and then I'll take some roving, stretch it out, and needle felt her hair on. And you have to jab it quite a bit, because sometimes you'll miss a loop. And I could just pull that off. But I don't know where I learned that from. I don't know who, I wasn't the first one who figured that out, though. Yeah.
Sorry, what's under them?
It's just like regular loops.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you lay it over, and then needle felt it on. Yeah, and it just makes her hair look more like hair. Yeah. And then I guess I should show, I'm not going to show you the back of that one. Yeah, I should, for the hookers, I'll just show you the back, yeah, so to hang them, I just put, I was going to say roving, but that's not roving. Doweling, thank you. Yeah, so I have these 2 sort of envelopes, and I put that, and it hangs on a nail on the wall. It's doweling, sorry. Yeah, so it's just, yeah. Sorry, I'll just show it to you. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and it does make the rug buckle a bit at the top, but I don't worry about that too much. I mean, it's a rug on the wall, right? Like you can't, yeah. I don't want to tell you all my tricks, otherwise. Yeah. And I think that's all I have. Yeah.
Process and how you get up in the morning, you
Yeah.
have lunch.
Yeah.
Is that because you're disciplined or because you're not waiting to get to it?
I feel compelled to do it. Like I wake up in the morning, most mornings I'm excited, which is a really cool feeling because I didn't have that for the longest time because I had all these crappy jobs I wasn't good at, right? And I didn't like that sort of, waiting for the weekend and, so I think you have to be that way because, there's not a lot of really wealthy artists out there, let's just say. You don't do it for that reason, right? You have to do it because you love it. You feel compelled to. It's not like, oh, but I used to run marathons, so I think I have that mentality of what's that? It's a bit, yeah. Like it's hard to turn my brain off. Like sometimes I can't sleep well at night because I've got all these ideas for rugs. So, you have to kind of try to, control it a bit, because like if my back and hand didn't hurt at 2, 3, p.m., I would probably keep doing it. So your body tells you.
Is that
this.
something you had to confront, carpal tunnel?
Um, One time I was on a deadline to get a rug done for Christmas, and I was hooking a lot to get it done, and then ouch, it started to hurt. So I thought, okay, I can hook maybe 3-4 hours a day, but it's fine now. But I have had hookers who have hooked too much, and now they're really in trouble. Yeah, so. The back, if I tend to like lean over a bit, you have to keep your back straight against the chair, and then you'll be okay. But I get right into it, so I lean forward. Yeah, so I have to kind of watch that. Yeah. I use a hoop. Yeah. No, I have a Shetty Camp frame, but I didn't like it. I don't like the other the gripper things. The lap frames, I tried that, I didn't like it. So I use a hoop, 14-inch hoop, and I bounce it on the table, and that's what works for me. So yeah, I just have to remember to sit up straight. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever do floor rugs? And what is there any difference? Like a certain difference in your mind?
Well, if I was to do a floor rug, I wouldn't use burlap. I use burlap because they're for the walls and they're not going to get stepped on. So the finishing would be different for a floor rug. I have a really big one at my mom's house and a couple in my kids' rooms. But yeah, the finishing would be different and the backing would be different. Yeah. And what's that? Linen or monk's cloth, yeah. I don't like prefer burlap for what I do because it doesn't stretch. And I like the smell of it, like a lot of people don't. So it's sort of what you prefer, but definitely linen and monk's cloth hold up better if it's for the floor. Yeah. Yeah. But I've always went through those stair rugs. I have like 14, I have these 14 steps and I'm like, man, that would look nice. So one of these days I'll do that. Yeah. Yep.
A Judy on every one.
I know. That's a good idea. Good idea, yeah. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Talk to us for a minute about Judy's past. How far around the world has she gone with your rugs and people buying them and stuff like that? I'm sure you probably... There was a buyer from England. It's mostly, I think I've only had one in the UK, a lot of Americans, a lot of Canadians. And I have a lot of repeat buyers. There's one lady, oh my God, she's got maybe 40 of my rugs. Love her. Sorry? Yeah, you probably know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Mary likes, yeah. So, she's great. Love Mary, yeah.
And she recycles, she rotates them, she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I've always appreciated your kind of social, political take on in at least some of your rugs, and wondered the origin of that. Do you tend to be that way, and are you a so-called feminist?
Yeah, it was funny. Sarah Fillmore. So is she the curator of the AGNS? I don't know. She wrote something about my work once, and I was like, oh, I guess I am a feminist. Again, it's like the folk art brain is very, not big picture oriented, if that makes sense. Like, I am a feminist, but it's not. It shows up sort of subtly. It's not super preachy. I think it can be better that way, a little more subtle. And I'm always for the underdog. Whenever I watch a sporting event, I'm always for the underdog. So, but that just sort of comes out. Like, yeah, I come from a line of like very strong women in my family.
So I grew up with that, and you know, I don't know. I just sort of, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, thanks a lot. I'm not really here yet.
Okay.
I'm very interested in potentially starting when I have more time.
Okay.
I've been a painter and artist, and it's just really, really inspiring to see you kind of doing work out of the box. Because I've been in a shop and it's like all the patterns, and I've had the exact same thing. It's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this, but
Yeah.
and then I have a friend. I said, "You design your own," and she said, "Yeah." And so and then I came onto your work, and right. So it's open this possibility.
Yeah.
As a,
Yeah, and I will see really fine hookers do really realistic pieces, and I'm like, it's beautiful. The skill involved, like I have done like from a photograph to do something like I have a show coming up in Truro, and I wanted to do it to train because the show's about Truro, so you know we can't do a show without mentioning the trains in Truro. So I had a photo of a train, and I had to like look at the photo, look at my burlap, look at the photo. I was just like, I admire people who can do that. It's not for me.
but it's not as much fun. Like
Not for me, but there.
is like interpreting
Yeah.
a version of it.
Yeah, like for me, like I guess I didn't really feel like I had, like the rugs that are very realistic, fine cut, tend to get the wows and the support. The person who just did the dog that looks like a cat, they're kind of saying, you need to take a class. And I got that a lot. Like, you need to take a class. And I was like, why? Why would I take a class? I mean, I have done classes, but I wasn't a good student. Like, I remember we all had to do like this cat. There were like 12 cats. And my cat was like purple and had lime green eyes. It was the ugliest, scariest thing. But it was my cat. Like, it was like, you know what I mean? Like, I made it my own. Yeah.
It's almost like a photograph. It's not a piece.
Yeah. Right. But I think the technical part of hooking has got quite a lot of emphasis through the years, and hopefully it swings back, right? Like I am seeing a bit of a shift, but you know, hopefully, you know, if I go to a hook-in, I see the majority are using patterns. Like it makes me sad because I think, you know, but they're happy. Like I mean, if like people say, Laura, not everyone wants to be an artist. Laura, people don't want to draw. Laura, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's a confusing thing, you know. But I get in trouble, but that's okay.
But it's also it's where you come from, and if I don't want to use a pattern, like I've got
Yeah.
something that sort of show me a different.
Yeah, but I think what gets hookers kind of like if I did, let's say I did I got a piece of burlap, I draw on a sunflower and I sell it as a pattern. Does that mean that's copyright protected and I can't make a rug of a sunflower? No, you don't own a sunflower. But like that is copyright protected. Like this is an idea, like a concept. But so it makes me sad, like, because when I first started, I thought, well, I see a rug of a landscape and that's a pattern. Does that mean I can't do a landscape? No. But you got to watch it because if someone thinks you took their pattern, holy, you can get in trouble. Yeah. So.
I think quilting has gone the same way.
Okay.
Through patterns and so on.
Yeah.
And it looks like the manufacturing piece is much more important than the original piece. I mean, we're led to believe that. And hoping that that will come around, right?
Right.
Pieces can come in and do.
Right.
You lose the creativity.
Yeah. I mean, the fun is in the making, right? I mean, the joy, I feel, yeah. Well, this is it. Yeah, I guess that's why I get, like, people get their back up. And, you know, if you're making something great, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I have no issue with that. But yeah, anyways.
I was just thinking how, for me, when I see your work, and your titles that you chose,
Yeah.
those are just as important as the book. To me,
Yeah.
It's like a whole idea.
Yeah.
I'm feeling something as soon as I hear that title.
Yeah, the title is really important.
So do you ever think of putting it on a t-shirt?
Put what on?
Your t-shirt with the
You know, it's funny. Someone asked me when I was giving a talk in Ontario, they said, is Judy copyright protected? And I thought they meant the rugs. I'm like, oh yeah, the rugs are copyright, but is Judy? And I was like, do I have to copyright protect her? Like, what? Like, but no, I haven't thought of doing that.
Giving her a voice, I mean, that's.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the most I do is like gift cards with the rugs on them. But yeah, I'm not.
And I would wear it.
Yeah, see, yeah, like I'm not very business minded. I probably should be doing that. Yeah, yeah,
For me, you know, as soon as you said the title and you said the title for this talk,
yeah,
it just really
yeah.
brought out the whole
You need the
experience.
title, yeah, for sure. And I love doing titles. Like it's yeah, it's part of that. Yeah, oh, thanks, thank you. No, no. Good question. No, I had to think there for a minute. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Hey.
I was wondering about cooking with kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I don't know, stories or tips on like get down, start rug cooking. There's strips everywhere. How do you make that work?
So, oh, you mean how did I deal with having little kids and trying to rug hook? There was, yeah, because usually when they would nap, I would nap. Like I wasn't, I knew I needed my sleep. Sometimes, yeah, I do have this recollection of Zoe playing and I was hooking and I was like, whoa, she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing, how great is this? But it didn't happen very often. Yeah, it's tricky. And it wasn't till they were both in school that I had that 6 hours block of time that I could really crank it out. Yeah. Yeah, so good luck. I know. Yeah. But my grandmother, like when she hooked rugs, she did it in the evening. But I guess the kids were grown at that time. So, I mean, it's sort of, if you can do that, but then the lighting's not really great. Yeah, it's good to have good lighting. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like this lady, I'm fascinated with your titles.
Yeah.
Do you have a more humorous outlook on things than
Well,
serious people like
I do, like my family, we were a joke a minute growing up, and my husband, my kids, it's nonstop. Everything is hilarious. Like, that's what I grew up with. So, and I think, like there's some heavy subjects that Judy deals with, and I think humor and subtlety is better. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the answer. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a really good year for rug hooking in Nova Scotia. I mean, Felicia Zwicker's here. She's the first rug hooker chosen as a poster artist for the Folk Art Festival, so that was a huge thing. And the exhibit over at the Museum of Industry is nice. So, I mean, I think rug hooking's, yeah, getting big.
Pretty solid.
It is. I know. It's, yeah.
Regular routine times together.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah. No, it's not going anywhere, just like folk art. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Yeah.
I think that's what I wanted to add, is that rug hooking is the community of hooking.
Yeah.
It's very important that everyone is getting their creativity, how they want to express it.
Yeah.
Even if they use a pattern.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
It's the way that they choose the colors.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's true.
So we often do
Yeah.
from one pattern, all different rugs.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So this maybe like let you free to explore
Yeah.
patterns too, because it's a good way to
That's true.
meeting is so important.
Yeah.
That's how I got to know rug hooking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Jane's got a great group. Jane Steele has a great group that meets, and but yeah, I'm just like this is
This is like I think one of the most popular blue nose patterns, the three bears, and just look at what the women did, you know. It's like, what are those bears doing? What's in the pot? Like, it's just kind of interesting, right? It is, yeah. So. Yeah.
I love what you did with the rabbits. We've seen Margot's.
Oh yeah.
The
Right.
rug, because Margot
Yeah.
has it. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did. Yeah, Margot. Right. I was trying to think who had that rug. So this was a blue nose pattern. It was three bears dancing, and so I adapted 4 of these patterns. This was one. I did the three bears. I replaced one of the bears with Judy. The blue nose, I put Judy on the boat, and the moose, the one of the moose. So Judy was on a canoe kissing the moose. She kissed the moose and she liked it, I think was the title. Yeah, but I have the 3 pigs. Who's talking about the 3 pigs? Yeah, the 3 pigs are going to be fun to adapt. And I have one of a swan. There's one, so I'll probably put Judy on the swan. Like, it's just funny to me, yeah. And this was like a sky. This is kind of newish. Does anyone have rugs in this one? No, this was different skies. So I did Judy pushing away the fog. Yeah. So that was fun to do. Yeah. Oh yeah, that one was fun. That one. Yeah, I mean the fog was a bit hard to hook because I'm not a gray person, but I had to get her done. Yeah. So yeah. Yep.
What's your background sound like music or watch TV?
Okay. So good question. Good question. From 10 to 11:30 is CBC. So Q is on, and I love Q. Oh my God. And at 11, they're talking. I can't remember the show that comes on at 11. And as soon as it's noon and I hear a certain music, I turn it off. I don't know why. And then I don't. And then it's quiet. I've had enough of that. But I always have the radio on. Yeah. And I can't, like some people can watch TV and hook. I can't do that. Yeah, I'm not able to do that. Yeah. I'm not very good in hooking with groups either. It's like a quiet time thing for me. So, yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Good? Hey. Okay, great. Yeah, thanks. Thank you.